Hey guys, Daniel here. This is another video. My next guest, he needs no introduction. It's the legendary Josh Hixson. Josh is a comic book artist known for his work on various different amazing comics, such as Shanghai Red, The Plot, Children of the Woods. And recently, he's been doing a bit of work for DC on series such as Batman, Foundation Fortnite, The Joker, Puzzlebox, Peacekeeper-01. And he's also a cover artist on some series such as Human Remains, Dead Dogs by Foul Brood, We Ride Titans, Barbaric, and he's also done some album art for bands such as BTSM. But Josh has very kindly agreed to come on for an interview. All it took was a load of blackmail, but like I said, he obliged. Josh, thank you so much for coming on. How are you doing today?
Thanks for having me. I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I'm doing brilliant. Even better now that I get to chat with you. Like I said, everyone, he's immensely amazed by my brilliant introduction. He was standing up before this and he had to sit down. And Josh's social security information will be in the description below if you'd like to go check it out. No, I'm messing around. But yeah, Josh, thank you so much for coming on. So many different things I want to discuss. And like you've been putting out some fantastic works recently, so we can get into all of that. But the first question I want to ask you, bringing it back a bit to the dinosaur age, how did you get into comics? Were you a fan growing up, or what's the story there?
Yeah. So I don't know, my introduction to comics is really weird. My mom is from Switzerland. She had a bunch of these like weird European comics that I would look through. I couldn't like read them because it's in French or whatever, and I never learned French. But yeah, she had all these like weird comics, graphic novels or whatever that I would just kind of pour through all the time, and was just always drawn to them for whatever reason. And I also like I got a bunch, like a big collection or whatever from like a yard sale. Like these people were just selling their old comics or whatever. And yeah, I don't know. I didn't have like a comic shop to go to. I just kind of like had all these weird different areas where I like found comics, like my mom, and then like a yard sale or like the library or whatever. So yeah, I wasn't like following comics. I didn't have like any like monthly issues or whatever. I just like stumbled upon them and was kind of obsessed with them.
Yeah, absolutely. And so, what was your first ever comic book work? What was that first ever comic you got to work on? I can't imagine you went straight into DC, which would have been very ideal. But what was
like my first comic book page?
Yeah. Wait, I'm sure you were like 6 years old. It's like teenage girls or something. Would I be correct in saying so?
Yeah, it's funny because I liked comics for like a long time. I guess the first time I got into them was probably around 7, but I didn't draw any until I was like 14 for whatever reason. I was like, oh, it's too hard. I can't possibly try and do that. I drew, but I just never tried to actually like tackle a page or whatever. So yeah, the first thing I ever did, I think it was like a 2-page. I mean, it was meant to be more than that, but I drew 2 pages of like this story I came up with about some like super soldier like experiment, super original stuff.
Alan Moore wishes he could write something near as perfect.
Yeah,
2 pages I think sums it up perfectly as well. I think
that's all you needed. Yeah, that's all you needed. I don't know why I bailed on it, but like I had this whole thing of like, oh, he's gonna like get revenge on the people that did this to him. But I only got up to the part where he like wakes up in this like table and then like throws up, and then I was like, all right, I'm done with this.
You flew too close to the sun. It's just this classic tale. You reached that, you peaked at the age.
Yeah, that was the pinnacle.
Yeah, and now you're just working for what, DC and some of your own stuff. It's not the same as doing your very own 2-page super soldier comic.
Exactly.
And then the big reveal was that the real super soldier was the friends you made on the way.
Exactly.
Now there's a new sequel that we can make out of it. I'm practically an ideal machine but for some reason, Marvel, DC, they're not getting back to me on my emails. Must be broken email machines. That has to be it. But yeah, so another thing I'm going to touch on, everyone, as you know, I'm perfect at everything, and slideshows just happens to be one of them. You can ask any of my teachers, they'll tell you I'm adequate. But I've devised my very own slideshow for this because I just had to talk about some of his art. And so when you are inevitably immensely impressed, make sure to go subscribe, but I'll show you all now. I got it. It worked. See, I told you, perfect skills. I didn't even hesitate there. Yeah, but the first thing I want to get into is your new Batman Foundation Fortnite story, and you put in some fantastic pages there. Once I saw these pages, like I just knew I had to interview you and wanted to pick your brain on him. But yeah, Batman Foundation Fortnite, how did DC contact you, or how did this even come about? How did you get into contact with DC?
I'm still not 100% sure how I got there.
They just came into your room one night with an envelope, and you're just like, what?
Yeah, I don't really know. I mean, I kind of know, or I think I know, because I know a few people who work for DC. But yeah, Katie Kubert, who is the editor on this book, messaged me and just asked if I wanted to do it. And it was kind of like a short notice thing. Like I think I had like a month or two before I was going to start. It was something like I was going to start in like a couple months or whatever. And I was already like, had joined on to do the Peacekeeper one shot. And it was like back to back.
Wow.
So I almost said no to it because it was like a lot of pages all at once.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's I got it through her. I'm not really sure who passed my name along to her. It kind of blew my mind that they were asking me to do it, because I never thought that I'd be, asked to do some kind of like team book or something like this,
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's very outside of my comfort zone. I had not done anything like this ever before, so it was a shock when I was asked to do it.
Yeah, absolutely. And we all know how they found you. One time, an editor was just looking around for a new comic, and he found this beautiful 2-page comic about a soldier.
Yeah, that was what did it.
And his Raiders of the Lost Ark, his eyeballs melted, and they sent out the email, and then here we are. Unfortunately, not enough, super soldier serum, but can't expect that in all your works. No, absolutely. So yeah, you just touched on there. This was kind of outside your comfort zone, because of course you've done a lot of horror work. So was this book actually for you a lot outside your comfort zone? Were you kind of adapting to it and finding out new tricks while working on it, or?
Yeah, it was just mainly, I guess, because a lot of the stories I've done don't deal with like a ton of characters. Like that's a whole other like animal or whatever. When you're drawing a page, it's like, well, here's a scene where there's like all these characters and you got to figure out how to like, place them on the page and everything. Yeah. So it was that. And it's also like, it's very action driven, which I haven't done like a lot of action type stuff. There's some of it in Shanghai, I guess, but nothing like superhero-y. So yeah, it was just, it was mainly like those two things, trying to make, I don't know, like trying to make what my version of what a superhero comic would look like or whatever, because I'd never really done that.
Yeah, definitely. And so absolutely, yeah, you just put it perfectly there. And so like, was there a difference between working on DC and working on your own books? Did you feel a bit more pressure here?
Oh yeah.
This is for DC, and like, did you feel any pressure?
Oh yeah.
Wow.
Well, it was not just like the pressure, it was also like, because Fortnite was like 39 pages or something, or maybe I'm mixing that up. I think it's a long issue, and I didn't have a ton of time to do it. So it would have been fine if it was like, you have this amount of time and lots of breathing room or whatever. That would have like kind of eased up the pressure. But it was doing this and Peacekeeper back to back, and that, which is also kind of a long issue. It was a lot of pressure. And then, of course, adding on the fact that you're drawing Batman and like, Lex Luthor and, all these important Fortnite characters or whatever. It was stressful.
Yeah. And have you noticed drawing a Fortnite comic has made you super cool with the kids?
Yeah.
Like, in your cap, backwards cap, like, hey, what's going on, my dudes? And anyone like this Fortnite comic, and then they just proceed to just kick you or anything like that. I'm sure, you're just swarmed by little fans just talking to you about Fortnite.
Yeah, I got major social points with my younger brothers.
And they come up to you and they say, I know you. You're the guy that did that 2-page Super Serum comic, and it all ties back together. It all ties back together.
Yeah.
Who cares about Fortnite when you have your 2-page Super Serum comic? Yeah, but absolutely. And so you just touched on drawing Batman there. And so, sorry, can you see the pages that I have up on the screen? Yeah. All right, perfect. Getting to draw Batman. Was there kind of some, like, was that a bit surreal for you getting to draw Batman, or did you kind of just say, okay, well, I'm getting paid to draw this character, so I'll draw? Or was there a bit of like, oh wow, this is Batman?
It was super surreal. I mean, before I had done this, I'd actually done the Puzzlebox, the Joker, the Puzzlebox, which again, I was drawing the Joker and like Riddler, and like the last couple of pages, there's like all these Batman villains, and so then like, and then going directly from that to Batman, it was like, what the hell is going on? Yeah, it was very, very surreal. I remember like the first panel I drew of Batman. I was like, I can't believe I'm drawing Batman and like he's in his bat cave. Like it's so bizarre.
Yeah, absolutely. And you just put perfectly there. And there are some fantastic pages there. People can go pick that up from their local comic book store as of time of recording.
Yeah.
Would it be correct to say? And this is a one shot, is it? Or is there going to be an issue 2 or?
No, it's just a one and done.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll expand on Batman Fortnite somehow, but yeah, no, I don't. This story is one and done.
Yeah, absolutely. And fantastic. And here are some more fantastic pages. I believe a few of these are up for sale. Would it be correct to say so if anyone's interested?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like I said, you can be swimming in that sweet, sweet job. You can give him money, which I will inevitably take from him because I have a social security number. So yeah, it's all brilliant. Go pick those up. But here's some more fantastic pages and like some more fantastic characters you got to draw. But so what's your process when you get the script? Is it, you look at the script and then you just, do some layouts, or what's your process the second you get the script?
Yeah. So usually what I'll do is I'll read through the whole thing, just kind of, just to get it or whatever, grasp it or whatever, and then go back and, read it again and start laying out the pages.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. My process is just kind of for each page, I just kind of figure out like, what is the point of this page? Like, what is the most important thing to focus on? And I kind of build everything around that. So like, the splash page is fairly straightforward with Superman, and just as dramatic as possible. Like that one, actually, because that was the first page, obviously. I was like, I kind of struggled with it for a while because I was like, how the hell, again, like I haven't drawn any like, crazy punching pages or crazy action pages. So I was like, how am I going to make this like dynamic, but also really look like, I think in the script it said something like, Superman is hitting Bizarro with like a locomotive train or whatever, so like just as much impact as possible. So yeah, it was like a matter of like figuring out all these different poses or whatever and what's the best angle. Well, but then like the last page here with Batman Who Laughs, like what's the most important thing to focus on here? And that would be like, he's dropping down, he's looking around, and then like that last panel of him like realizing where he is or whatever. So yeah, it's just like you just kind of, for me at least, find like what the focal point or the point of the page is, or the point of the scene rather, if it's a couple pages, and then sort of build everything around that. So I'll do like little thumbnails like this, and if something's not working, I'll do, more of them until I get it right.
Yeah, and I'm sure some of your previous, horror experience helped you with the Batman Who Laughs, because he just has the weirdest smile in the world. And I think, I noticed a lot in your work that, like, especially your Twitter banner, it's this really ugly smile. So I think you're great at drawing ugly smiles, which is a compliment, I guess you could say. But you think it's fantastic there. But yeah, so absolutely getting to work in this book with all these different characters, that must have been such a fun experience for you. Now, do you feel like are you satisfied with that? Like, can you look at that and say, oh, I'm so happy with this? Like, are you a perfectionist in your work, or are you like kind of relaxed about it, or how do you feel?
Well, for this book in particular, if I'm being honest, I like a lot of it, but I feel like I wish I'd had more time for certain pages. I mean, yeah, it's with every book though. So even if I have lots of time, I'm like, oh, I wish I had done this differently or whatever. So I'm not always happy with my work. Usually I'm pretty like, it was all right. I don't know. It goes in stages. Like there are times when I feel really great about it. And then, I don't know. It's really confusing. It doesn't really make any sense.
No, absolutely. And I think, I think a lot of artists I've had on have feel that like they just hate themselves so much, even though their art will appear perfectly. So I think you did fantastic on this book. But yeah, absolutely. I can certainly see what you're saying. But yeah, now this is one of your other DC books you just brought up there. It's Peacekeeper-01, which is this fantastic one shot you did, which was such a great concept. Now, this is kind of like a newer character, I believe, added to the DC universe. So what was it like getting to work in this book?
Yeah, it was really cool. Being able to be a part of like Peacekeeper's like origin story, and like showing that was like so cool.
Definitely.
I was also working differently for this one a little bit, like using graphite and like gray tones on the page. Yeah, like I dabbled in the idea because I did a lot of gray tones for the plot. just kind of like figuring out lighting and like taking the inking like a step further with light and stuff. But I wanted to do that like traditionally at some point. So I figured it's a one shot, you know, if it's a nightmare and it's not sustainable, at least it's only like 30 pages or something. And I can at least experiment. So I tried to use it as an opportunity to experiment and do something different.
Yeah, definitely.
Graphite. But yeah, it was great. And, you know, getting to work with Roman again, who colored both Foundation and this was.
Yeah, definitely. He's a fantastic colorist. And so, like, you know, do you work very closely with your colorist on this, or do you just let them like have fun, or like, how does that work? What's that process like?
Yeah, so that's one of the big reasons I love working with Roman, is because we kind of like, we talk a lot. I like to have as much communication as possible with whoever the writer, or, you know, any part of it. But a lot of some of the colors I've worked with in the past, it's been like, you know, here's the stuff, here are my ideas, and like they kind of go with it, which is also cool, obviously. But I wanted to try to be like more collaborative with a colorist and really try to like, you know, nail down like what the point of everything was, or like what Rome was thinking versus what I was thinking. So like, you know, I would send him a couple batches of pages. We would talk about them, and then he would go do them. He would send them back to me, and then we would kind of talk about what was working or what may not be working, and then just kind of working in like stages like that. And we did that with both Foundation and Peacekeeper, and I don't know, it was a lot of fun.
Yeah, definitely.
And it, I think, you know, made the book all the better.
Yeah, absolutely. It's fantastic. Everyone should go pick this up. It's a one shot, actually. So it's with one and done. You can go pick it up.
Yeah.
And like, you can see, like, obviously you've done quite a bit of work on kind of horror books, I suppose you could say. And I think that does come true in books like this. Like, we can see, like, there's something just a bit creepy about, you know, a peacekeeper running through the street. And I think that really does come true. And I think kind of adds to your work. And so do you think some of your previous horror work, you know, helped you in any way while working for DC or anything like that?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, doing horror in general, one of the reasons I like it so much is just the opportunity. Sorry, my dog is barking. Let me close.
Oh, it's no problem at all. Anyway,
no
he's
idea what he's even barking at.
It's no worries at all.
But yeah, like I was saying, one of the reasons I really like horror is like the opportunity to use as much black as possible, put things in shadow or whatever, which has definitely helped me a lot. Doing these books, just in general, that's just how I like to draw.
Yeah, definitely. And you just put it perfectly there. And now, everyone, for the page I'm on, what I really like about this is that you posted these onto your Twitter. They're just some panels you like. But in the 3 panels right here, we can see like each eyes are like kind of expressing different emotions.
Mm-hmm.
Really great. And I think like I said, like I love in the previous panel just before we were showing in the page, like you can see each of their eyes. And it's just fantastic. So everyone should go pick up that book. Like I said, they can get from their local comic book store. Yeah, absolutely. And so coming off that, another one of your DC series is, sorry, 1 second, that you got to work on was Joker, a Puzzlebox with my enemy, Matthew Rosenberg. It was like getting to work on that book, you know, like, and like this, you've done so many different like DC stuff recently. So how did this even come about? And so was Puzzlebox the first thing you did for them? Or,
that was my first thing for DC. And I guess it was Matt who helped me get this. I'm pretty sure, I'm trying to remember now who first reached out to me. I mean, I know it was the editor, but I can't. It was Katie Kubert, but I can't remember like how exactly it happened. This was my first thing that I did with them, and it was I'd actually almost worked with Matt before, like several years ago.
Oh, wow.
So like to finally do something with him was really cool.
Yeah.
And again, to draw like Joker and Riddler and so many other characters, Punchline was like totally surreal.
You didn't get to draw everyone's favorite Batman villain though, Condiment King. Do you not know who Condiment King is? Do you know who he is?
I know who he is. Yeah. I don't know much about him, but yeah.
I have this thing where every time I interview someone, I bring up Condiment King, and I interview a lot of current DC people, creators. I figure if I do it enough, everyone will just start talking about Condiment King, and I'll have a Condiment King uprising. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So I figure if I introduce it to enough people, eventually subconsciously, you'll just have Condiment King on the brain. So, I mean, Joker's obviously has a white face in this, which is symbolism for Condiment King's costume. So are you kind of confirming that Condiment King exists in this universe? So
Yeah, it's an Easter egg for sure.
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. The color red is used quite a bit here. Obviously, symbolizes ketchup. It can't mean
Oh
anything
yeah,
else.
yeah.
Can't mean any other thing. Yeah, we've cracked it all. We can end the interview now because it's not going to get as good as that. That's all I wanted, just a confession from you. So now I get those sweet, sweet Condiment King royalties. Also, everyone, my new create your own series, Relish Ravager, comes out soon. No relation. Very, very much unrelated. No, yes, around. Yeah, but Joker Puzzlebox, you got to work on, was it issue 1 and issue 2 or just issue 2?
Yeah, so it's a little confusing. I still don't know which issue because I think it was released digitally, and that was the first issue digitally I was not on. It was the main artist, and then when it came out in print, I was in the first issue, I believe. Maybe I'm getting it wrong. But yeah, I was literally looking at this the other day and I was like, am I in chapter 1 or chapter 2? Because the way that they released it digitally and in print was like different. So I'm pretty sure it's in issue 1 in print.
Yeah.
let me double check that.
He has to confirm it, everyone. But yeah, everyone, you can also go pick up Joker Puzzlebox from your local comic book store as well. I also had Matthew Rosenberg on. You guys can check that out as well. Yeah, but absolutely. So you were saying there, have you found out, or are you still a bit like you know?
I made a 2-second attempt to look through my box, which is there's too many comics and it's too much of a endeavor.
It's too late.
We'll say it's issue 1.
Yeah, no, we'll leave it up in the air. You know, it's up for interpretation. Whatever you believe as the viewer, what it is. I mean, it's like I said, it's on subpar with Alan Moore storytelling.
Exactly.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me go on to the next one. But some fantastic pages there. You got to draw everyone's favorite, the Riddler. He was absolutely not. What was it like getting to draw his costume? Because like a lot of these people kind of have costume redesigns, but you got to get like some of the classic like 60s like Batman costumes. What was it like getting to draw the Riddler's costume and his brilliant bowler's hat?
Yeah, so they had sent me some ref of what the characters looked like, their costumes and everything. And I think because it's not like a main Batman story or whatever, they can be in like whatever. So I was just kind of going off of the page or the ref that they sent me.
Yeah.
And I love the fact that it was using like their old costumes or whatever, because that's what I like personally. And I wanted to be able to draw them that way, especially Riddler. Yeah, like Scarecrow is like his old-fashioned Scarecrow. They're kind of all
Penguin and Man Bat, their penguin top hat, which is
exactly
perfect. And then Condiment King's in the background of that picture. We just can't see him.
Yeah, he's up on one of those skyscrapers or something.
Yeah, he's up on the the Ferris wheel, just going over and over and over, just shooting ketchup, saying some stuff. This stuff writes itself, doesn't it? Like, I mean, come on, Josh, me and you will pitch it to DC. They have my email blocked, so we can do it on your one. Don't know what that's about. Yeah, but absolutely. And so there's a few characters in this one panel down there at the bottom. Everyone can see there, but that's a Mad Hatter, Catwoman, Penguin, Joker, Scarecrow, and Man Bat, I believe. That's quite the selection there. So were they all in the script, all those characters?
Yeah, actually Two-Face, I think you might be seeing him as Joker as Two-Face in the center.
Oh yes, that's right.
Yeah.
They're my favorite Batman villain of all time. Yeah, but absolutely. And so like were they all specifically in the on the script there?
Yeah, I think it was important to have like those specific because they come in later on. In the previous panel or page, there's like Riddler, Harley Quinn. It was like again like so cool to be able to draw all of them.
Yeah, absolutely. And I know you did some really fantastic Batman pinups, which you posted some on Twitter. We'll get to that later on. But so coming off Joker Puzzlebox, oh, sorry, 1 second. Another thing I want to touch on is, of course, one of your best series, in my opinion, Shanghai Red, which is probably one of the series that people know you best for. This is a fantastic series that you got to do with Chris. So, how did this come about? Did he come with you or did you guys come up with it together, or what was the story behind this?
Yeah, so Chris actually messaged me not long after I graduated from SVA. I was studying comics and all that. And
yeah,
I just graduated and was kind of like, what the hell am I going to do? Not really sure how to get into comics or whatever. And he messaged me on Tumblr of all places while I was still active there. And yeah, he was aware of my stuff through Tumblr because he also had one, and like we were like following each other. Yeah, so he messaged me saying that he wanted to work on something, and I think this was the first thing that he brought up
Yeah, absolutely. And some
Um,
fantastic pages there. You can all see right there. And like what I love about your storytelling is that like just visually you're a fantastic storyteller. Like we can see in the middle panel, with just the like last three panels of the middle page. I think they're just fantastic. And I know a lot of other artists have given that wouldn't have done the same thing, but we can see them. Oh, sorry, I'm after just skipping it there.
it's all
Uh,
good.
all right. Well, I mean, now we're on a new page anyway. But yeah, you can see there with panel work. Like your panel work in this is just fantastic. So visually, is that important for you while storytelling just to get the panels right and just make sure that they all kind of fit together and that, the storytelling is all smooth?
Yeah, this was that's definitely the most important thing for me, or just like compositions, clarity. I mean, that's just comics in general.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Like it's I'm just trying my best.
That's all it is. Yeah,
That's
exactly.
like I'm trying to think of something smart to say of
No,
like
no, to
how
be
it's just
super
like
pretentious. I mean, it's all in the soul. When you look at your pages, it's like I like to describe it as like a butterfly in the wind. That's how I like to look at my art. You should have just said something like that's what I'd say.
exactly.
Us
Yeah, I don't know.
artists,
I'm just figuring it out, you know?
yeah, exactly. That's all you can do. Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, just some more fantastic pages there. You can all go check that. And I believe people can go pick. Can you read issue 1 for free on the Image website? Is it, or I might be
Oh, I
wrong?
don't know. Maybe you can. I haven't picked up
Yeah, everyone.
all
I
things
think
Shanghai Red. Maybe you can. That would be cool.
I think you can, or you can just break into Josh's house and you can get comps from him. That's how I did it. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I got lots of back issues. I'll just give you one.
yeah, that's how I read it. I just broke into Josh's house while he was sleeping. He was very generous, very, very loud snorer, which is very hard while I was reading. But we get what we get, and we don't get upset anyway. But yeah, some more fantastic. And you also did the covers for this series as well, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so your covers are fantastic. I'm going to touch on covers a little bit more in the future in one of the other ones. But yeah, just some more fantastic pages to Shanghai Red. But I'd imagine there's so much more freedom attested to this as opposed to DC, because it's like,
Oh yeah.
as great as it, like these characters, they're all like co-owned by you. And like, so was there a lot more freedom here?
Yeah, for sure. Anytime you're doing creator-owned stuff, or at least normally, in my experience, you have a lot more freedom. It's just like you, the writer, and then you go off, you figure it out, and then you rejoin, and that's kind of it. So yeah, it was definitely. I think it was a lot better for me, like professionally or whatever, to do something like this right out the gate rather than try to do more editorial type stuff, or because I feel like I was still really learning a lot here. So yeah, it kind of gave me the opportunity to like really figure stuff out on my own.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so all these characters designed by you in this book?
Yeah, I mean, in design together with Chris. I mean, I did a bunch of character designs and stuff of Red and all the main characters when we first started. And so yeah, it was like we would design them together. I would do what passed, and then like we would talk over it and then kind of tweak things here or there. But yeah, I mean, yeah, it was a team effort.
Yeah, and so is it hard for you to look back at some of your earlier pages or like art that you've done a while ago? Is it? Because I know a lot of artists that I chat to are always like, no, don't show me anything. I don't want to see it before coming to flat. But is that difficult for you? Is it?
Yeah, so difficult. In fact, this is something I've talked about before, but like this first issue, I redrew so many of like the faces, poses, like I went back over it for print, because I started it in 2014 when I had first graduated, and like I was inking and drawing very roughly, and I don't know, like by the time it was actually ready to be published, I was kind of like trying to tighten things up a little bit. So I think you can see it in certain poses and like spotted blacks and stuff, where it's like things look like an amalgamation between, for me at least, these two different like ways of working. The original pages look pretty different from these ones. Wow. The faces are different. So yeah, I like went back by the time we were ready to publish and everything, because it took like 4 years or something ridiculous by the time we were actually like, when we started and when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a long process.
Wow. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I can imagine you like just constantly working away while you look up and you're framed and there's a framed piece of your super soldier story. And that's like the most perfect page you've ever done. And you're always trying to get to that bar. You're always just trying to get to something near it. And you know, it's a tragedy. It brings a tear to my eye just talking about it right there. But yeah, absolutely. Your work in Shanghai Red is brilliant. And so, can people pick this up from their local comic book store before we move on?
Yeah, it's in comic book stores, or at least in some of them at least. You
Yeah,
can get
first
it
five
online.
Is it 5 issues that are up? Would it be correct?
Yeah, 5 issues.
Yeah,
So
five
and
issues.
the one volume, that's the complete story.
Oh yeah, and there's a trade paperback for it as well.
Yeah, yeah,
Oh, fantastic! You can go
yeah.
pick that up as well. And so
Yeah.
everyone should go absolutely do that from you can get from your local comic book store, and you should also get the trade as well. And or you just break into Josh's house, which I'm very much against, by the way. Don't break into Josh's house. Yeah, you won't find anything. I've tried to find his address, nothing's there. Anyway, before we move on, I want to move on to your next comic. One of my favorite of your works is the plot. It's a fantastic horror-driven comic. You probably saw me, skip to it a couple of times. Yeah, but the plot, how did this come about? Was this after Shanghai Red? The plot came about?
Yeah, I think it was. I don't know. I you notice the theme here. I don't remember exactly who reached out to me first, but someone reached out to me, either Michael, Tim, or Adrian.
Yeah.
To do this, and it was I think right as I was wrapping up Shanghai.
Oh yeah.
So it was like kind of a no-brainer.
Oh wow, fantastic! Yeah, and so this is like kind of a heavy horror comic, and like I guess I kind of opposed some of your earlier releases. This is heavy horror, and so I'd imagine that is it hard for you as an artist to work on horror? Is it different as opposed to like an action comic? Because so much of horror, I think, in films is like sound and moving and jump scares and so much. And as an artist, it's kind of hard to convey horror in a story. Did you find that while working on the plot?
Yeah, I mean, I'd already had a little bit of practice in horror. Because I have been drawing, while I was doing Shanghai Red, I was drawing this book called The Black Woods, which is now known as Children of the Woods.
Yeah.
Which was also horror. So I learned a lot there. And yeah, I don't know. It's what I like to draw the most. And it's what I feel the most comfortable in. So I feel like going from Children of the Woods to this, I was like more ready for a horror story, or drawing one at least. I did prepared a bit more.
Yeah. And so is horror your comfort zone, or like drawing?
Yeah,
horror?
Absolutely.
Yeah, really?
Yeah.
And like I love your use of blacks and stuff. Like, and so as a horror artist, what do you think is the most important thing for you as a horror artist to convey in your story? Is there a specific thing that you love drawing the most or anything like that?
Yeah, I like building tension, which is, again, all about horror. And like this scene here, the page 3 or whatever.
Yeah.
This is actually very different from the script.
Oh, wow.
I changed it a lot, but that's one of my favorite pages, just because it's very like it's a silent page. I like to obscure things.
Yeah.
I like to, try to convey as much emotion and like the characters' expressions. And so yeah, it's all about building like tension, again, because you don't have sound or anything like in movies. You don't have it's kind of more stripped away or whatever. So yeah, tension, building dread and all that, that's like my favorite part of drawing horror.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you do that fantastically. And so here's everyone, you can see these two covers. These two covers are done by you, would it be correct in saying so?
Yeah.
Yeah, and so did you know from the very start that you wanted them to kind of like mirror each other? Because you can see
that
parallel.
Yeah, I had done the first the cover for volume 1, and I think while I was doing it, I mean, this was like when the book was kind of wrapping up. While I had done that one, I was like, oh, we'd sort of talked about maybe it'd be cool to do like a mirroring cover where like you have this same person decayed or whatever. That touches on like the story and everything. But then for whatever reason, and which I do this a lot, I was like, that could be cool, but let me try like 6 other different variations of a another cover. And then I did all this work, and I was like, you know what, maybe it's best to just do the mirroring.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
it's fantastic. Yeah. And like I said, I think you as a horror artist, you're really in your element, because I think you do fantastic stuff there. And so is doing more horror books something you'd be interested in maybe in the future?
Yeah, I'm starting on a new thing like I can't really talk about, but it is like horror. It's very horror adjacent. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Everyone look for scripts in his background. Maybe we can see them. Look for names. I said that specifically because I had a feeling you were working on something right now. I could feel it, you know. It's always something. But yeah, no, I'm very glad to hear that. Like, I mean, I assume you're impeccably busy, like I said. And thank you again for coming on, even though how busy you are. And like, all it took tons of blackmail. But here are two brilliant pages here, which are just fantastic. And like one full spread and then like another like 3 panels. And so like that's fantastic. So I mean, let's touch on this first page here. This is something I want to talk about. In the script, is it described like particularly as this like 3 slit panels going down?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I could be wrong on that, but I remember that being the decision I figured out in the layouts, I think. Yeah, it was just like this character is sinking into water, and like anytime you have someone who's climbing something or someone who's falling or something where like the verticality again can help like sell the point of the page. And then it's like this character is falling and he's being enveloped by this thing. Yeah, I've done that I think 1 or 2 times, but this was like the one time where it really kind of like worked.
Yeah, absolutely.
I like tall, skinny panels.
Yeah, and I think they're they're very cinematic. I think they're brilliant. And on the second page here, that's another fantastic page. And like, I love how there's a lot of action in that, but there's also like bricks and boilers and walls. And so, as an artist, is it boring for you to draw the mundane things, or do you kind of enjoy it? Because I know it's like that's kind of a split thing for artists. Like some artists love drawing, you know, walls and like tables and chairs. But do you, as an artist, love that, or are you like, I want to get to the action, or what's it for you?
I like drawing it when it comes out good.
Yeah. Do you ever just like have your rubber or eraser and you're just like, yeah, it's just sketching it, rubbing it all out?
Yeah, because like using this page as an example, like if I was to do this in all line, it would probably, in the way that I draw in all line, it would probably look pretty terrible. So like anytime I have to draw, I'm trying to get better at it, but like anytime I have to use like all lines and no like spotted blacks or whatever, I usually hate it. I'm still trying to figure it out. So yeah, like if it's something where it uses a lot of black and a lot of shadows, everything just gets obscured and like just kind of hinted at. Again, like this boiler, you just kind of see like the side of it or whatever. So like that's fun to do. I don't know that I necessarily enjoy drawing like mundane objects, but it depends on like how it's lit. Like I take a lot of enjoyment out of like figuring out shadows and how light is falling on something. So I guess it depends.
Absolutely. And so discussing all of that, that leads brilliantly onto our next thing, which I want to talk about is your cover work. And like your covers are fantastic. And I think I noticed that along your work, like visually, they're all just really interesting, just beautiful pieces. So I think I want to touch on about covers is that like you've done quite a bit of covers. So when you're given a cover, like do they just give you free reign, or do you come up with a few concepts and give it to them, or how do covers even work? I'm very much interested in that.
Yeah, it depends. So like with Vault, I work really closely with Tim Daniel.
Yeah.
Who does a lot of writing and design, partner with Vault. Also, you know, one of the writers for the plot. So we're good friends. But yeah, so I work closely with him on the Vault ones, and he'll usually, well, at the beginning of like my doing covers with them, or like with the plot, he would kind of send me like he would send me like straight up like layouts already, like digital, like a mix of drawings and images, like really cool like compositions and stuff. So I would sometimes just take that and run with it, or I would tweak things here or there. So like at the beginning, it was very collaborative, like back and forth type thing. And then like as I've done more for them, it'll be like, oh, I have this idea, you know, try this, try that, or whatever. This is, you know. And then like the most recent ones I think I just kind of like just did whatever. So yeah, with Vault, it's been very collaborative. The Dead Dogs Bite one, I mean, that was for my friend Tyler, and he was just kind of like, can you do a cover for me? And I went and did it. You know what I mean? Yeah. Same thing with Foul Brood. I mean, if I'm doing a cover for someone or a friend or whatever, again, it's the same thing as like creator own. They just kind of like ask you, and then you go off and do it, and there's not like a ton of communication back and forth. So it depends on
and do you go through many drafts, or are you kind of quick with it?
I usually go through a lot of different like sketches. The like layout stage can take me kind of a long time because I'm very indecisive of like, once you commit to something, like, well, this is it, this is what it's going to be. So I'm always like, well, what if you did this? And what if you did that? What if you moved that here? That's kind of like the fun of doing covers. It's just like moving things around. I've also started working differently with covers where I'll figure out the colors in the sketch a bit too. And I'll just plop that into the final ink drawing, and then kind of paint over everything. Using that initial sketch as a guide or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And so everyone, let me just take a minute here to talk about this. The first cover we see here is the new fall comic, We Ride Titans. I may be hosting a panel soon about Trez and Sebastian, or maybe just Trez. I'm hoping I'm going to Sebastian as well. So cool. By the time this video is up, hopefully you can all see it. But I love that cover so much, and we can kind of see in the brain, I guess you could say brain of the robot with a bunch of wires. That must have been a pain in the ass to draw with all those wires and machines.
I love drawing. This is the kind of stuff I like to draw. It's just
really?
Yeah, because it's not I'm not looking at reference for anything really. When it's a big robot, I'm just kind of making it up. So it's a lot of just sort of mechanical shapes intertwined chaotically. You don't really have to figure that much out. You kind of just wing it.
Yeah, wow, that's fantastic there. And I'd figured that, but of course it's a brilliant job. Everyone go pick up We Ride Times when it comes out in January. I know it's been late to January. But here's some more of your fantastic covers there for different do you have a favorite cover that you got into, or can you just not choose because it's you love them all like they're your own children?
I'm actually a big fan of one of the ones you showed previously for Human Remains, the first cover, because again, that one for issue 1. Because again, I'm normally working with a lot of black. I'm not too comfortable just using line, and so for these covers, I mean, you saw it in the next one too, cover 3 or whatever, cover 2, I'm just using line and trying to figure out color. There's no spotted blacks. So that first one I'm a bit proud of, or whatever. I like how it came out. I like the lines in it, and I like how I colored it. So
I do uncover something you'd like to do more in the future, more covers.
Oh yeah, I plan.
Yeah, and so do you enjoy doing covers for your own work?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so here are 2 covers you've done, and then one that's just the main cover. That's too barbaric as well, too fantastic. And I love the simplicity of the first one. I mean simplicity is in it's such a unique image, and in we can see that the axe not only has a face on it, but it's just such a great image. And I love that's why I think you're so your art is just so visually striking. There's a few pinups of yours I'm going to get to soon. If the next thing I'm going to touch on is of course Children of the Woods, which is fantastic. Did you say this was your first horror book?
Yeah. Well, I had done some horror short stories in college. That was kind of what spawned I really drawing this thing. I did this one specific 3-page story that I was something really clicked with it, and I was I could do more of this. But yeah, this was the first one full-length comic that I did that was horror.
Yeah, definitely. And so just a little fun fact here, I edited the image we all see on screen right now. And if we see Children of the Woods outside, when it's zoomed in, the background is black and it's kind of ink brushes. I was going to Google a picture of a black background, but I wasn't arsed to go into Google and look it up. So I picked one of your pictures and I zoomed in on the black. So now I didn't think it'd be so noticeable, but now we see now the inks in the background. So thank you, Josh, for basically helping me edit this one single picture. So yeah, brilliant.
It looks great. It works really well with the lettering, how the lettering is rough. I think if it had been a clean black background.
You get it. Yeah. Josh understands. Now you should all understand. I did it because of my artistic vision. Artistic vision. That's why I do anything here. But yeah, absolutely. That's fantastic. But yeah, some more brilliant pages there. Sorry, just let me take a minute. Some brilliant pages there that Josh got to work on. Oh man, that's such a bad joke. My artistic vision. Oh, I'm so stupid. Right, some more brilliant pages there that you got to do. I think are some just brilliant panels. But yeah, and we can see kind of the horror in this. So was this kind of a learning curve for you getting to work in this kind of horror aspect?
Yeah. I was still figuring things out using different tools, and I think you could kind of tell this compared to the plot. I was drawing still a lot more rough.
Yeah.
Which has its advantages, and I like cohesively the book kind of looks all the same, obviously, but I like the kind of the roughness to it or whatever. Yeah, I was still figuring stuff out in it. It was yeah, it was very much a learning curve.
Yeah. And these two panels want to touch on. I think that's just some brilliant visual storytelling there. Like we can see, it's just one of my favorite panels that you've ever worked on. So I think that's fantastic. Everyone just go pick that up. And so, Children of the Woods, can people pick that up as well?
No, that comes out. It comes out January 25th through the book market, and then the 26th through the direct market.
Oh, it's yet to come out.
Shift. Oh, wow. Yeah, so it comes out soon.
Yeah, brilliant. Everyone should go check down. Here's some like little pages here, like samples you should go pick up.
Yeah,
fantastic panels there. Yeah, but absolutely. So getting to work on this, you said this was originally called, was it Blackwoods?
The Blackwoods, yeah.
Yeah. And so then did you guys come up with that title change, or how did that come about? Or
yeah, so basically we had that title for a while.
Yeah.
And then like as we were drawing the book around the same time, Dark Horse published another book called The Woods.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. So I was like, oh, well, we can't really, it's a little too close. So by the time we actually like we're talking to Dark Horse or whatever, they were like, yeah, we gotta think about changing it.
The place with lots of trees.
Yeah, exactly. We went through a lot of different ones, but eventually landed on Children of the Woods.
Yeah, absolutely. And so like drawing trees there, is that something you enjoy as well? Because I mean, you think that like all the branches, you have to keep track of them and make sure that they all kind of connect somehow. Was that difficult for you, or was that one of the things you enjoy drawing?
Yeah, this is again, like figuring stuff out. I think I was really overworking a little bit on some of these panels, but
no, I think they're fantastic.
No, it's great. It's just funny because like by like issue 3, I feel like I kind of nailed down like a much simpler way to draw like Dark Woods.
Yeah.
There's this one specific splash page, which is my favorite from the whole book. And it's like, it's way more simplified. The trees are just kind of like silhouettes. And there's like one very intense light source, similar to the cover, but it's a little more simplified. But yeah, I remember like anytime you start a new book or anything, especially when like I was kind of like first starting or whatever, there's like this importance of like, oh, this has to be the best thing I've ever drawn or whatever. So I see a little bit of that in these like first couple of pages, because like all of these branches and like,
yeah,
again, it looks good, you know, it's just like, I know I could have simplified things how I did them, because like I was like outlining all the branches and then filling in all of those outlines with spotted black. And like, if I was to do that now, I would just go in and like, you know, draw the negative spaces or whatever, and then just like figure it out from there and just do it much more simply.
Yes, just silhouette everything. That's what
yeah, exactly. Or I mean, sometimes you can't, like in this instance where like the silhouette, there is no silhouette because nothing's standing in front of you. You have to light like, yeah, do like white silhouettes or whatever, a glow.
Your artistic interpretation, you believe it should be all just a silhouette. And if anyone questions it, they don't understand. They're not getting a message there. That's about human greed. Obviously, it's about human greed. That's why we have to make the whole page black.
Exactly.
So imagine not understanding that. You just have to. Now that's why I understand everything. That's what Condiment King is, just like an analogy, or, you know, metaphor for human greed. When you really look at him as a character like ketchup, that can only mean one thing. It's beautiful. It's Shakespearean storytelling. It's so Machiavellian. Exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So coming off Children in the Woods, like here earlier on, I touched on some of your Batman villain pages. I just have to touch on these pages. Those are, I really want to see you do a Batman book. You know, I mean, I guess you kind of do with Batman Foundation, but I'd love to see you on like an ongoing or something like a really dark, like kind of Jeff Loeb mystery comic, something like that. But here, just some more fantastic Batman villains you got to do there. So, you know, who is your favorite Batman villain? Just out of curiosity.
That's tough. I'm not really sure. Is
there one to draw that you enjoy? Because
yeah,
I'd say Clayface or Joker, because I know you did a Clayface commission.
Yeah, Clayface was one of my favorites growing up as a kid. He's a lot of fun to draw, but I don't know if he's my favorite. Maybe it's like Scarecrow. I really like Scarecrow. Probably him. Scarecrow, Mr. Freeze.
You're meant to say Condiment King, but let it slide just this once.
Yeah, he's up there too.
Great. Yeah. All right. Well, I mean, I don't really want to finish the interview now that you didn't say Condiment King. I'm kind of not feeling that anymore. Not many mess around. For those who don't know, for me, it's obviously Conan the Barbarian. You thought I was going to say Condiment King? No, it's Detective Chimp, obviously. No, the great ifs. Here's something that's going to be so crazy. What if Batman put his money into the wealthy people and didn't beat up mentally insane people? It's such a fresh take that no one has come up with. You know,
Yeah.
no one on Twitter has ever come up with that. So that's my
Someone should do it. Yeah.
yeah,
it's
there's
really
like
bold.
just it's like, oh, you could come up with anything, and he runs his own like garbage truck company now or something. Just
Yeah.
whatever. I mean, that's what people want to read, really. Just him doing his taxes on the table, like, no, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, but absolutely some more brilliant pages. And I love how you draw the Joker. Like I said, because of your previous horror work, I'd love to see, because Joker, I think, more in recent years has been interpreted in this horrific kind of way. Like in just all of his works, he seems to be like this kind of like weird, like animatronic, like horrible character. So I'd love to see on a book like that. And your Two-Face here, Two-Face, my favorite Batman villain of all time. And I think it's just some more brilliant pages there. But yeah, and so there's some more just pin-ups and sequentials before we finish up the last few slides. Some more just fantastic pages here. When I was putting this together, I was like, yes, I can't wait to talk about all of these. But these are all commissions, correct?
Yeah.
Brilliant. And like in each of them, I just want to touch on each of them. This Galactus and Silver Surfer, when they come to you, they like, is it kind of like a cover, like they say specifically what they want, or did they say Galactus, Silver Surfer?
Yeah, I know some people that do, like, they kind of take direction from the people that are commissioning them, and I don't like to do that because I feel like it sucks the fun. And I think a lot of people who get commissions are aware of that too. Just let you do your thing. So yeah, with all of these, it was just like, oh, I want Galactus and Silver Surfer. With the Spider-Man one, it was like, oh, I want that specific scene. And then the Wolverine one was like, you just want a Weapon X.
Yeah, and water had to be over Ding Dong, because you can't put that in. Can't put that in.
Yeah,
not in public commission, not in public commission.
Yeah, exactly. Believe me, I wanted to put it in there.
He's just wearing like the Dr. Manhattan, just the tongue, for no reason. Just say it's artistic interpretation yet again, metaphor for human greed. It's all coming
exactly.
Together. It's all coming together. I think some things are better left up for the imagination, to be perfectly frank, And like I said, like in the Spider-Man image, there's a lot like mechanics behind it. And so like did you enjoy drawing the mechanics for that piece?
Yeah, again, it's the same thing as like the Rewrite Titans thing. Anytime where I have to draw like machinery, it's like, I don't know, I find it really easy to do, because you just kind of like figure out the big shapes, figure out some of the smaller ones, and then everything in between you just kind of make up, all the wires and the way things intertwine. It's a lot of like, it's the same way that I kind of draw like trees or like foliage or whatever. You just kind of have things overlap organically and fade, and
Yeah, sure, absolutely. And so next thing I want to touch on some more fantastic pages here with Moon Knight in his that was the suit designed by Declan Shalvey. My nemesis. Don't even bring him up. I hate him when I'm on this. Declan, if you're watching this, which I'm sure you are because you watch everything I do, how are you? Everyone make sure to go check out Declan's work. He's a big friend channel, one of Ireland's own as well. Second best person to come from Ireland that's related to comics. I know what you're thinking. Garth Ennis, obviously. I mean, no. Yeah, me, obviously, I'm the best. I come first. Like, I mean, no one's as humble and modest as me. Even in this, when I'm meant to be talking about your art, I'm bringing myself up here. Yeah, no, absolutely. There's just some brilliant pages there. And so was the middle page here, was that page to a comic, or was that a commission?
Middle page is from the plot. That's actually the one that comes right after that page with the 3 vertical panels. So this is like the reveal one. This is what he's being like enveloped by, like this creature.
And so were you just allowed to do whatever you want for the monster design there?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm trying to think. I mean, I knew they wanted it to be sort of like this cosmic being or whatever. It's funny because I remember when I was drawing this, I drew all these weird eyes or whatever, and we were kind of playing around with the idea of giving it pupils, and then I put them on there and they looked so ridiculous and silly, and I was like, yeah, let's just leave it the way that it is.
Just googly eyes. And it's like big terrifying grin, just give them little googly eyes.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
absolutely. I wanted to just be like this biomorphic or organic shape or whatever.
Yeah, and earlier on I was touching on Clayface. You can all see that page that I was talking about. And now to the first image is the crow. And I remember very vividly, I can't believe this is you. I mean, I don't know when it was, but I remember this picture was going around Facebook. I think of that. And like my friend Kieran Mars Antonio, you should all check him out, shared it. And I remember seeing it. I was thinking, wow, that's fantastic. And actually, I shared it. I remember so vividly. Someone put colors over it, I think. But yeah, no, so now getting to chat to you here, like getting to see that image as well. And like now we're best friends in the whole entire world. So we've come a long way. Yeah, blackmail works in brilliant ways. Yeah, absolutely. You'll get the falls back when we're finished. But yeah, absolutely, that crow image, what was that like? Did the commission like depict crow on top of a hotel banister, or like what?
No, so like I'd never seen the crow. I had a sheltered childhood. I wasn't able to watch the crow, I guess.
It's an injustice.
Yeah, it's real injustice. So I watched it, and like I really liked that scene. just in general. I was trying to figure out like how to get him to pose or whatever. I don't know. I really like that shot, and then just like having him crouched up there. So that was kind of like, yeah. Anytime I have to do a commission, like I've had a few or like, oh, I don't know anything about this, so I feel like I have to like watch the movie or like the show, get some sense of like the character or what the story is about or whatever before I can actually do it.
So did you actually watch The Crow just for that commission?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you write it off as a work expense.
Yeah, I mean,
what are you doing? Watching The Crow?
Yeah.
It's for work. It's for work. Okay, it's for work. And then
I do the same thing with video games.
Yeah, exactly. You know, what games you play? Just out of curiosity, now that you brought it up, I can't resist.
Oh God, I'm on a lot of Warzone, unfortunately.
Now you have to play Fortnite because you've done a Fortnite comic. You can never play.
I'm terrible at Fortnite. I'll say it. Like I tried it when it was really popping off when it first came out, and I just could not. I'm not good at the building stuff. I didn't really give it a valiant attempt. It was like I sort of came in like months after everyone had grinded and leveled up and were like absolute beasts at the game. So I was just getting destroyed, and I was like, I don't have the patience. It's a great game, love it. Just not for me.
Yeah, you don't have to worry. You know, I played Fortnite last 2 years ago. I think when everyone was into it, and I couldn't be arsed to learn how to build stuff. I didn't want to do it. Like people were trying to teach me. I'm like, no, I'm not building anything. I don't want to. I want to shoot people. I recently just started playing Wolfenstein. Have you ever played Wolfenstein?
That's one of those games that's been on my list to play for a long time. One of the games I've been meaning to play for a while that I'm finally playing right now is Control, which is super good.
Wow, yeah. Brilliant.
Yeah.
So do you play on Xbox or PS4 or what?
PS5 actually.
Comic book money. What did I say?
Sorry. Well, I mean, it's all true. The rumors are true.
Comic book money.
Yeah.
That is typical. Now I know what to break. Now I know what to grab next time I break into your house. PS5.
Exactly.
Now we know what all these commissions paid for. These 3 ones we see right here. But honestly, probably wouldn't have been enough just to get the PS5. Probably have to stack like all of your commissions, every money you've ever made just to get it. Yeah, absolutely some more brilliant pages there. But the last one I really like, really visually interesting, is Clayface. And so, and I like the mechanicals in the background. Like, where are they? Do you know where they are? Or is it just like you're just kind of freehanding it or just having a bit of crack with it?
Yeah, it's funny because like I look at this piece and I like it. I'm a fan of it, but like I remember how I did it, and I'm looking at it now and I can see that like things prospectively or whatever don't make sense, but it doesn't really matter because I don't know. It was one of those pieces where I was like totally winging the perspective of the machinery and the stuff behind it, and it kind of doesn't matter. Yeah. Which is kind of how I do a lot of my perspective. Just like, well, I know the basics, and hopefully I can figure it out from here. But yeah, again, I don't know that they're in some kind of warehouse with a bunch of machines. I'm not really sure.
They're in the friends we made on the way. That's the heart of the commission. These could have been 3 pages that you weren't spending doing on the super serum story. What's that about? No, I think it's best we leave it. It's like Watchmen. You just don't add on to it. Very bold of me to compare Watchmen to your 2-page super serum comic, but yeah, and then of course Captain America and Iron Man there in the middle. Some more fantastic pages there. I put in this image just because, of course, Preacher there, created by one of my very good friends, Gareth Dennis. So even though we've never met, but I'm going to track him down eventually. And this Dragonborn commission you did on another great show, which people should go check out. Which it was called Drawing and Cornered.
Yeah, Drawing and Cornered. Yeah.
Yeah, everyone should go check out that video where he actually drew that live. And obviously after this interview. And then this first piece is something that was kind of big on Twitter recently that you posted. That piece blew up. So, how did that come about? Like, is this...
Yeah, I'm not really doing commissions right now. I'd gotten off of like sort of a long haul of doing like several commissions. And I just kind of wanted to do like pieces for me. Because I haven't really done any of that in so long, when you're constantly drawing for other people or books or whatever. And I just haven't really done much for me lately. And I'm a big fan of Bloodborne, which I only just recently started playing like a couple of years ago. And I don't know, I just wanted to draw stuff from it. I like visually, it's like one of the coolest games. So I'm going to do more of them. Actually, I'm doing kind of like a series of them, and then I'm going to release them and then maybe do more.
So, oh, fantastic. Yeah, absolutely. You just put it perfectly there. And then this Preacher, was that commission?
That was just one we did. I'm on a stream with my friend's Twitch stream, hosted by my friend Soolee, and yeah, we all get on it and draw stuff and talk.
Oh, okay, yeah. Well, the link, if I can find it, will be up and down in the description. What's it called?
Well, if you look up her name on Twitch, it's just Sooleedraws on Twitch.
Yeah. All right, perfect. That'll all be linked down in the description. Everyone go check out Suey. And you can get even more, Josh, after this interview, which you will inevitably want more. And yeah, absolutely, there's some more fantastic images there. And let me just click on the next one. Now, this is something I want to touch on. This last thing I want to touch on, only a few more pages, then I'll let you go and you can have your family back. BTSM, this was some brilliant work you got to do for BTSM. Now, this was some album art, would I be correct in saying so?
Yeah.
So, I mean, how did you go from comics to doing album covers for this big band?
That's how
we got the PS5, wasn't it?
Yeah, right. I started working with them around the same time I was doing Children of the Woods and Shanghai Red. I had just, again, like when I had just graduated, I was like kind of desperate for work and not knowing what the hell to do for money or whatever. So I was like just messaging people at random, which is very out of character for me because I'm normally like, oh, no one wants to work with me type, self-deprecated shit or whatever. But yeah, so I was just messaging people, and Black Tiger was one of them. They were kind of like, I was following them on like SoundCloud or something, and I noticed they were like releasing new songs and like merch or whatever. So I was like, I'll try and see if they need an artist for merchandise or whatever. And I didn't think they'd get back to me, but Julian, one of the members, and he's also the co-founder of the record label that they're on, or founder rather. He messaged me back and was like, yeah, we need someone, and I've been working with them ever since.
Yeah, fantastic, and some more brilliant. And so album covers, did they just kind of let you loose to do whatever you want? Or
so with Julian, who I work with like directly, he's kind of like my my art director on all of these. It's very collaborative. He'll kind of like give me well, if it's for work for them, I also do a lot of work for other artists on the label, and usually they'll have some kind of like concept or idea of the direction that they want the EP or the single to be. So it's all very like kind of concept heavy covers, and he'll kind of like lay out what they're thinking, what he's thinking, and then we'll kind of bounce it back and forth, and then I'll do some sketches and then get back to him and until we nail down what everyone likes.
Yeah, absolutely. And so did they release like physical albums?
I know they've released vinyls. A lot of what
you
they
ever
do
gotten
is
to hold one with your art on it, or
actually no, I'm saying they don't have vinyls. I don't, or maybe they do. I'm trying to think.
Vinyls are the new cool now, it seems like. I mean,
yeah, I'm thinking back. Like I know they've done prints of my work. That obviously I've done stuff for like their merchandise or whatever, but I don't think they've actually printed any of their like physical copies of their music. I could be wrong about that, but I don't remember seeing any ever. But yeah, I have like
too busy thinking about your PS5s.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I've done lots of stuff for them. They're a lot of fun to work with.
Yeah, absolutely. You just put it perfectly there. Everyone go pick up go check out BTSM. There's some fantastic music. But yeah, that just about wraps up. Before we finish up, just my last 3 final questions that I ask all of my guests. Do you notice improvement as an artist when you look back at some of your previous or earlier work? Say, oh, I could have done that, or oh, I should have done this, or?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
I feel like all I do is draw. It feels like. So like, if I wasn't improving, probably should throw in the towel. Yeah, I mean, anytime I look at old stuff, I'm looking at like old decisions that I made that I don't make anymore.
Yeah.
It did the same thing now of like, you get stuck in like thinking a certain way or doing things a certain way, and like you kind of have to be like, well, why do I just keep automatically doing things this way, and like should I try something else, and never be too comfortable or whatever. So yeah, I feel way better about my stuff now, obviously, than how I used to be drawing.
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. And I think I hope your art is just brilliant. And I can say that because I'm blackmailing you. I'm only messing around. Your art is genuinely fantastic. But my second last question, what is your dream comic book? Who's that one character that you just like to work on that you haven't gotten a chance to yet? surely you have to think about it even just a little bit. Like I'd love you on like you'd be getting like a Swamp Thing or Constantine or something like Justice League Darkish. I think you'd be fantastic for that.
I actually almost did like a Swamp Thing short, but I wasn't able to do it at the time because I was doing the other stuff. So that was like, that would have been really cool for sure. I don't know that I have a favorite. I'm maybe like, honestly, like I'd really love to do like a Ghost Rider or like,
oh yes,
like Punisher or something.
Ghost Rider. Have you ever gotten to draw Ghost Rider?
For like professionally, no. I mean, I've drawn like
commissions or
pinups, commissions or whatever. I'm trying to think. I don't think I've actually ever gotten a Ghost Rider commission.
Oh, now I have to see that drawn in your style. Why did you have to bring it up? I'm not going to rest till I see that. Yeah, but so many different books I think you'd be great on. Like maybe something supernatural or horror-ish DC title or anything like that. Like I mean,
I mean, honestly, I, you know, having already drawn Batman, sure, but like I would love to do like a more like noir, like Batman thing or anything DC that's like kind of dark or whatever. Yeah,
someone is poisoning the ketchup, but I don't know who it could be. The mustard, the relish, the condiments. So it's right under my nose. I can feel it, and then boom. That's my exactly. Now there's a mystery. We're not going to reveal who it is till the end. So I mean, I'm going to keep everyone guessing.
Yeah,
not Condiment King. Don't say it. Oh, but then it's revealed that it's Condiment King. He rips off his mask. It's Detective Chimp. Detective Chimp rips off his mask, and it's the real friends he made on the way. And then it's all a dream that, you know, Condiment King was dreaming, and Condiment King is next to Detective Chimp. It gets very meta. You wouldn't understand. You wouldn't, you know, you're not as like, I have this, there's a big board behind me, just a mind map that you can't see because it's off screen of all of it. Yeah, no, absolutely. And so I've already taken up so much of your time. So my last and final question, if anyone was looking to get into comic books as an artist, what advice would you have for them?
I mean, it's probably advice that they've heard a lot already if they've looked for it. And there's really no like set way to do it. Like, just make it and then like get on Twitter or someplace where you can, I can't believe I'm like plugging Twitter just like to make it in comics, but like, you just have to figure out a way to like get eyes on your stuff, whether it's going to a convention. That's probably the best way to do it. And like actually meet people and shake their hands or whatever. Screw Twitter. I mean,
use Snapchat, obviously.
Yeah, or Snapchat. Use Tumblr actually. Get you know, we need the resurgence of Tumblr.
Get the old MySpace up in there. That'll work.
Yeah, but I mean that's kind of like when I was starting, you know, I was watching all those you know, panels of like how to break into comics or whatever, and everyone kind of says the same thing of like, you just have to make it and like show up to things, which is in a way like really cool. It's not like it's not really like, it's difficult obviously, but it's not like complicated. You just kind of have to like do the work, get good enough, I guess, to be published or whatever, you know, whatever, you know, I don't know. It's very kind of arbitrary. Just figure it out on your own, show up to things and keep practicing.
Yeah, absolutely, Josh. You just put it perfectly there. Everyone listened to Maestro himself. But yeah, so before we finish up, are you on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, MySpace, Tumblr, anything like that? Instagram, Snapchat?
I actually still am. My Tumblr is still out there somewhere. I'm not going to plug it though.
Curse the dirt.
Yeah, I'm on Twitter and Instagram. I have a Twitch that I don't stream on, but I'm trying to get back onto that. Yeah, you can just find me on Twitter and Instagram at Josh Hixson, but the H's are combined. It's a really
So before we finish up, anything you'd like to promote or talk about? Any new series that you can talk about or touch on or promote?
Any new things?
Yeah.
No, I mean, again, I can say that the next thing I'm working on is in the vein of horror. I can't say who it's with or anything, but it is a new creator-owned series. So
I knew you'd still relish Ravager. It's my own fault for bringing it up. It's my own fault. I knew it was coming there. I should have saw this coming. No, everyone, you can go pick up Batman Foundation Fortnite, Joker Puzzlebox issue 2, Peacekeeper-01, and of course his other works, the Shanghai Red, The Plot, Children of the Woods, and much, much more. Well, Children of the Woods actually comes out in January. Yeah,
that's by far the thing I need to plug the most. Children of the Woods, January 25th and 26th.
I'll have to have you back on soon in January and talk about it. I'll just But yeah, absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you on next video. Josh will talk to you a little bit off air. But yeah, everyone, please make sure to like and subscribe. If possible, you can follow me over on Twitter at SamboGizmo1. Please make sure to donate to the National Deaf Children Society if you have the means, especially during the Christmas season. If not, that's completely fine. You know, every cent helps. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Go check out Josh's work. All his links will be down in the description. You can check him out on Twitch. Also, he does hop on some occasional streams with that'll all be down in the description below. Check him out on Twitter. Go pick up all the books I mentioned. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Stay safe, and I will see you all in the next video. Bye. 1 second, let me just find out how to stop it. Oh, yes. Oh, wait, I think I have it. Stop